Have your attention, please. We ask that you familiarize yourselves with the nearest marked exits as a cautionary procedure prior to our commencement ceremony today. In the event of an actual emergency, please remain calm, and public safety and security officials will direct you to specific locations where detailed instructions will be provided for you as needed. Thank you for your cooperation.
Good morning, parents, family members, friends, and distinguished guests. It gives me great pleasure to present to you the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania's great class of 2017. I now present to you the Dean, faculty, administrators, and alumni of the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania.
Please sit. Good morning, everybody. What a fantastic buzz in the room. I'm Jeff Garrett, Dean of the Wharton School, and I couldn't be happier than to be here with you all this morning. Welcome, faculty and staff, family and friends, parents, partners, and most importantly, of course, the Wharton Undergraduate class of 2017. But actually, most importantly of all, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the room. On behalf of the whole school, it's my real pleasure to welcome you to this 2017 undergraduate graduation. There's a lot of buzz in the room, and I know why. This is an incredible day of celebration. The enormous achievements of the people sitting on the floor of the palestra this morning. But I know, and they know as well, the equally great achievement and support provided by everybody sitting in the seats. So this is a day to congratulate our graduates, because what they've accomplished is truly amazing. But it's also a day to thank you, to thank all of you, all the support teams out there who have made this possible. And I think we have to go first among equals today to all the mothers leading those support teams. You don't have to listen to a long speech from me this morning. I'm sure many of you are very thankful of that. But I have been thinking a little bit about the world of business and the world of business education in a truly incredible era we're living in right now, where words like populism, inequality, dislocation, division, the 1%, has led to a perception out there that business, and I think by implication business schools, are part of the problem, not part of the solution. I think that's always been wrong, but I don't think it's ever been as wrong as it is today. In a glib way, I might call it the public role or the social role of the private sector. Let me just give you two very simple examples of fields that are well compensated, but that tend to get criticized a bit in the media, that I believe have incredible social value. First one is financial services. Let me tell you, I want people in financial services to do a really, really good job. Why? Because my retirement depends upon how well financial services work. So those of you in the audience and on the floor who are working in financial services or going to, I'm very happy that you're well compensated, because you doing your job well means my retirement will be better. Second example, I've been thinking a lot about recently is infrastructure in emerging markets. You know, I think in emerging markets, infrastructure is about the biggest challenge there is to realizing the full potential of emerging market world, probably with the single exception of China. If you think about the infrastructure challenge in emerging markets, it would be fantastic if governments in Delhi and Manila and Jakarta had enough money and the opportunity to build an elaborate subway system. But you know what? They're not going to do that. What's much more likely to happen is that ride-sharing companies, so Uber or Lyft in the US or Didi in China or any other ride-share company, if they can increase just the occupancy of the vehicles that are already on the roads in clogged, chaotic emerging market cities, those cities will be more livable into the future. The notion that technology could solve urban infrastructure problems, I think, is very real today. So I give another cheer to the savvy use of apps to increase the efficiency of the resources we've already got. Pivoting to you, I know that all the students here, and I bet a lot of the parents in the room, know that you came here because you wanted to get a good job. And of course we know, and we're very proud, that so many of you are leaving with fantastic jobs. But I know, and we know, and you know, that you actually want more than a good job. You came here to realize your wildest aspirations, and those aspirations invariably mean making a big impact on the world. And I think our job at the school is to help you, not only while you're here, but for the rest of your lives too. How can we help you? We can help you by helping you develop the skills, the networks that you'll need to succeed, but the courage and the conviction actually are inside all of you. And I know that what you want to do is turn your own ideas into outcomes that matter on the ground, in the world, making people's lives better. Innovation is a terrible cliche these days. If it's not in every sentence, it's certainly in every paragraph that is uttered. But I think at its core, innovation matters. We need to do things better. We need to do more with less. We need not only to incubate ideas, but also to create impact. And I think, therefore, at its core, Wharton really is in the innovation business. And that business is to turn good ideas into great outcomes. That's why you all came here, and that's why we are also proud of you. Now, I know how much you had to do to get here today. I'm blown away, literally, by what you have done while you've been at Wharton, but I simply can't wait to see what you do now that you're leaving. So congratulations to you all. That's the end of my stump speech. I now am going to pivot to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Nat Turner. Nat Turner is to my left. Wharton class of 2008. Nat is the co-founder and CEO of Flatiron Health, and he is a true Wharton boy. I don't think I told you this, Nat, but when I mentioned your name both to Eric Bradlow, one of our professors, and to Josh Koppelman, a proud alum and the head of First Round Capital, they just smiled and sparkled remembering you. Nat, for somebody who graduated 9 years ago, has led a rather full business life. With his partner, Zach Weinberg, Nat started Invite Media when he was a junior on campus. 3 years later, or 2 years after he graduated, he sold it to Google for $80 million. But in 2012, Nat started Flatiron Health, so far away from the world of ad tech because of personal experiences he had in his family with cancer. If you fast forward 5 years, Flatiron Health has raised more than $330 million in funding, and it's a unicorn. Now, in the business world, I think everyone knows that unicorns aren't mythical animals. They're startups valued at over $1 billion. Flatiron Health, though, isn't your average healthcare company. It's an extraordinary marriage between healthcare and analytics, between doctors and geeks. I was on the floor of Nat's incredible facility at 200 Fifth Avenue in New York, looking out at the Flatiron building. I don't know where you came up with the name of the company. In Manhattan, and seeing hundreds of data scientists sitting down talking with doctors is just an extraordinary thing. What Flatiron Health does is work with most of the major cancer centers in the country, including those at the University of Pennsylvania, with two ambitions. The first one is big, the second one is even bigger. The first one is to match cancer patients with cancer treatments. And if you think about most tech moves, I mentioned Uber before, that's what they're doing. It's matching supply and demand, but in a very, very different arena than we would normally think of. So how do you do that? How do you throw technology at cancer care? Well, you put all the information together, use all the data on all the cancer patients and match it with all the cancer treatments out there. Not only the individual, but the whole universe of cancer treatment. But that promises an even bigger payoff, which is to drive cancer cures. How do you do that? Well, you use data to increase the number of people in the right clinical trials, which is clearly great for the patients, but it's also incredibly important for cancer medicine, because the only way progress is going to be made is if the number of people who could be in clinical trials increases. Better for them, better for curing cancer. So that's pretty incredible. Now, Nat is an introvert by nature. He told me that one of the tough things in being the front person for an incredibly successful startup is you've got to give investor pitches. Now, you're about to see that he's done pretty well on that challenge, amply demonstrating not only why he's been so successful with investors, but also why he is a truly inspiring and visionary leader. Could you join me in welcoming Nat Turner?
This is officially a lot more people than Dean Garrett said would be in the room today. So I do want to first thank Dean Garrett for allowing me to speak to you all today. It's a real honor. It's like the first time in my life I actually feel old looking at all of you. I graduated about 9 years ago, as he said. I actually didn't go to this event. I was working in New York. This is the first time I've ever been in the Palestra. I never went to a basketball game, never went to a football game. It is what it is. I'm still frankly shocked that he asked me to speak today. I think if I polled the room, except for my best friend sitting back there and my wife on the live stream, you guys probably have no idea who I am. And this is also the first time I've given a speech outside of my company or my sister's wedding, which was about a year ago. But let me first start to say congratulations to the Wharton Undergraduate class of 2017. Being in your shoes 9 years ago and looking back, I can't even describe how great of an opportunity you've been given to graduate from Wharton. The amount of opportunity it's going to give you in the next 10 years, the rest of your life, is off the charts. Certain of you in the room are going to run companies like Goldman, McKinsey. You're going to run Fortune 500 companies. A few of you are going to go to graduate school and keep spending your parents' hard-earned money up in the audience, but probably still go on to do great things as well. I had breakfast with a few of you this morning. I met someone who's starting a company. I met someone who's going to med school. It's really great to see what's going on. If there's one thing, and I'll get to my message in a minute, that I could recommend to all of you today, which I wish I did more, was to network amongst yourself. The number of classmates that I had from 2008 that now are working with me or are best friends is off the charts. It's quite literally your last chance to do this. Today's your last day with each other. So we're going to do the thing that I always dreaded in church. So you're going to have to introduce yourself to each person around you. So take a minute, shake your hand next to each other behind you. Come on, let's see it. Introduce yourself. All right. If one of you made a connection, that'll be lasting. I did my job. And next, I want to recognize the actual people in the room who probably had the most with you being here, especially the moms. Let's give a hand for the parents up in the audience. So truth be told, as I mentioned before, and Jeff did a great job of explaining the high level of my story, I barely finished Wharton. Most people think I didn't. I finished about right on the nose with a credit that I needed. I think it was a writing credit that I needed. My co-founder, Zach, which I'll talk about in a minute, he did not graduate, and he wears it as a badge of honor. I'm not here to tell you to drop out. That's too late. If I had come maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have done that. But when I asked Dean Garrett a few weeks ago what it is he'd like me to talk about, he first said, start with my story. And then I'll deliver a few key messages that'll hopefully help you in the rest of your life, which is no big deal, I'm told. But let me just start from the beginning. I grew up in Texas, hence the church thing. Also lived in Louisiana, Europe, all sorts of places, probably 7 or 8 places before I got here to Wharton. Being from, I think it was maybe one of 7 kids from Texas at Penn at the time. I didn't meet any of them, actually, once I got here. But my dad's company moved him all over the world. He was working for Conoco Oil and Gas as a geophysicist, and he left when I was maybe about 10 years old and started his own company. It was a big risk. He had a family, a mortgage, and I think, being inspired by that, I started looking at ways to start companies. I was about 13 years old. I had a lot of hobbies. Most of my hobbies I couldn't really keep as hobbies. I had an intense focus about everything. My first one, which I think many of you probably remember, is baseball cards. Who in here collected baseball cards ever? All right. Apparently I am weird. And I started selling baseball cards at card shows, online at eBay. My next one, which is even weirder, is reptiles. I actually had snakes that I would breed, funny enough. If you take 5 seconds to look me up on Google, you will see me with a lot of snakes. I bred snakes in my bedroom, in the garage. I had a warehouse south of Houston that we had snakes in. I probably had over 400. At one point, my dad sat me down and said, look, you probably should sell the snakes. You're heading off to college. You probably want to meet friends and maybe girls. So you should probably sell the snakes. So I did. Before long, I needed a website to sell those snakes, so I started designing websites. I self-taught. I was probably 12 or 13 years old at the time. I had an absolute monopoly on the snake breeding website building industry. Thankfully, the FTC wasn't too keen on that industry for monopolistic tactics. But my first incorporated company was when I was 13. It was called Novatrix. It was a design company. Thankfully, other companies started to ask non-snake breeders to build their websites. I started to diversify away. But the real accelerant was in 2003, 2004, when I was accepted into the 2008 Wharton Undergraduate class. I remember running downstairs screaming when I found out I got in. I had written a web crawler, like a web app, to constantly refresh the page and send me an email when it because it kept crashing and I was lazy. So, but I got the email and I was in. Wharton for me was always number one. I wanted to go to the best undergraduate business school in the country. Wharton, Stanford, Harvard, all these places don't hold a candle to Wharton, in my opinion. I will say, though, however, if I had known that I would have to live in the Hill dormitory freshman year, I probably would have reconsidered. It was pretty bad. My next door neighbor is actually from Hills here today, Dr. Aaron Cohen in the back, complete underachiever. He's now an oncologist. But joking aside, I met my lifelong business partner, Zach Weinberg, actually the first day of school at Penn. It was in a writing class that we hustled to get into. It was the easiest one. And you watched a movie, and then you wrote a 2-page, no longer, essay about it, and he catered lunch to the class, and it was at 5 o'clock. And one night, he wanted us to pair up with another student, and Zach and I both wanted to watch the movie Elf. And it was love at first sight, facilitated by Will Ferrell. And that's the true story. To this day, we credit, Elf the movie for bringing us together. Before the semester was over, though, we had figured out we wanted to start companies for a living. Frankly, and I'll get to this later, Wharton wasn't the best place for us at the time. I don't know how it is now. I asked some questions this morning. It's mainly a finance and consulting school. Most of our classmates were pretty wary of the whole startup thing. But we started a company called EatNow.com. Probably isn't around anymore. It was like Campus Food or Seamless Web or Grubhub, if you're familiar with those. We worked our tail off. Didn't really work, the company. We sold it for a little bit. But we learned a ton. We learned how to work with each other. We learned how to push each other's buttons. I was the highly introverted web designer. Zach was the cocky kid from New York City who knew how to talk to people and sell something. And then, as Dean Garrett mentioned, Josh Koppelman kind of came into my life. I was their first intern at First Round Capital in 2005. This is freshman year. He's a Wharton Undergrad alum. There's this great program called Entrepreneur in Residence that the Wharton School puts on where you can get a 30-minute slot with an entrepreneur. And I think I actually built a crawler for that too to make sure I got a slot in the program. And we spent about 30 minutes, the allotted time, talking about First Round Capital. He offered me a job, I think, when he figured out I could build websites. First Round's great. They now invested in companies like Uber, Blue Apron, Flatiron, a bunch of others. And I think my rate was $12 an hour for that summer. It was really memorable, and I hope you guys had great internship experiences as well. One of the things I remember the most, I went to San Francisco with Josh, and we got 20 pitches in a day, and one of them was this company called YouTube that had just launched a week before. Chad Hurley was telling us about this, photo website, but instead of photos, it's going to be videos, and it's going to be great. Obviously, fast forward, it's one of the biggest websites in the world. The next summer, junior year, I got an internship out in San Francisco at a startup. Josh arranged that. We had a lot of pressure, though, Zach and I did, to get the kind of standard experience, go to Goldman or go to McKinsey. We did the on-campus recruiting thing, like I'm sure most of you did. Everyone but our parents was pretty much pushing us, down that direction. But we went out to SF, I dragged Zach, and we started brainstorming the next idea. The first idea sucked, I'm not gonna lie. It was a online video ad for small businesses company. We wanted to get gas stations and car dealerships to put video ads on YouTube. Please don't try that. But we went back to Penn right after that summer, back into our junior year, first semester, and Zach convinced some hedge fund guy in New York to give us about $300,000 in seed capital. Today, that would be a pittance. I think an average seed round is probably $3 million for a startup. We were over the moon that we got 300 grand. The guy hated our idea. I remember him telling me after, but he liked how Zach and I were completing each other's sentences. So it speaks to how important co-founders are and how important relationships are. That company became the first demand-side platform for banner ads, which Dean Garrett mentioned is called Invite Media. I won't go into a ton of the details. He mentioned a bunch of them. By the time Zach and I graduated, or technically I graduated and he didn't, we had around 30 employees in an office in Center City. I don't know if this place is still around, but De Bruno's, which is an awesome Italian place. We were right above that. In fact, our building burned down at one point and we had to move, but we loved it. I think I never even saw my house here at Penn senior year. We had 28 engineers, mainly from Penn. I slept there every night. We slept on aerobeds. My designated spot was right along the conference room wall. Zach was under the conference table. To save time, we wouldn't deflate them. We would just string them up with bungee cords in the hallway. So when customers or investors came over, they would literally walk past, aerobeds as they were entering our office. And the conference room was actually a converted master bedroom with a bathroom attached to it, which was very convenient. And we really were at the right place at the right time. Traction was great. We invite a lot of gory details that I'm glossing over, but Invite was so much fun. I learned so much. Ad agencies were our clients. I was in New York almost every day. I put, I think, 25,000 miles on my car in that first semester. We would do 1 o'clock to 3 a.m. Was our route back and forth from New York to Penn to make class and also make meetings the next day. About 2 years after, I won't go into a ton of details because Jeff said it as well, but we sold the business to Google. In fact, the guy who acquired our company is now our CFO at Flatiron. He's a great guy, which I'll get to in a minute. It was almost 3 years on the dot. I mean, literally within 2 days. We integrated, we stayed on for 2 years. That platform actually is going to do about $3 billion in revenue for Google this year, about 7 years later. We're 24 years old. My dad loves to remind me of this. We were absolute morons looking back to sell the business when we did. But it is what it is. You can never be called stupid for taking money off the table, especially at that age. And also, it was the best thing that ever happened to us because it allowed us to focus on the next venture, which is something we cared about. It was really hard to be proud of the actual mission of Invite. We like to tell the story that, once we figured out that if you go to an obituary website, God forbid, you were more likely to rent a car. So we would serve you Hertz ads. That's an example of the kind of stuff that if you're in the advertising industry, you work on. Or you try and optimize click-through rates from 0.01 to 0.02. Really fascinating technology, and very important for the internet to work. But to be honest, not something I was super proud about, to call my mom and say, hey, aren't you proud of me for figuring out this obituary thing? But almost as soon as we got to Google, we started looking around at new ideas. We started a brainstorm. Zach and I invested in probably 50 different companies, a lot of them from Wharton undergrads, actually, probably 20 of them. If you have a startup idea, feel free to reach out to us. The big moment, though, was right around when we sold. My little cousin Brennan was diagnosed with AML, which is a form of leukemia. It was a pretty bad situation. He was misdiagnosed twice, survived 4 bone marrow transplants in 18 months, full chemo, full body radiation, ended up at St. Jude, which is an amazing organization. They basically saved his life. And he's actually in one of their commercials with the great Robin Williams, if you want to go look it up on YouTube. That's Brennan. He's still alive, actually. He's remission for 5 years now, which no one thought was possible. But Brennan really opened up our eyes to what else we could do. We wanted to start another company. We were 25, 26 years old, had a lot of gas left in the tank. We had a lot of investors, including Google Ventures, that were willing to back us, which again was so great when we sold Invite for that reason. So in 2012, literally the next day after we left Google, Zach and I incorporated Flatiron Health. This is our 3rd company together. We're entirely obsessed with making a difference in cancer care. We help cancer centers, treat patients better through advanced software. And we help drug companies and the FDA accelerate research through clinical trials. It's a really fun company to be at. We're almost 500 people now. As Jeff mentioned, almost 330 million in funding, a little more actually now, mainly from Google Ventures. We have about 20 full-time oncologists. I actually looked this morning at the number. Hopefully Aaron one day will join us, although he probably won't want to work for me. And probably due to the aversion of people as well, we haven't done a lot of press. You probably haven't heard about us. That's totally fine with us. We want to be quietly behind the shadows, helping cancer centers provide better patient care. We're now up to about 20% of the cancer patients in the United States. So about 1 in 5, if you're diagnosed, will go through our platform. Actually, this coming month at the largest oncology conference, we'll have 9 research publications that we'll be publishing amongst a bunch of other companies. So that's really my story. In the final few minutes, I do want to convey a few pieces of wisdom from this now quite old guy compared to you. I joked with Dean Garrett that my message probably is best for you 4 years ago, when I'm sure most of you have already figured out your post-college plans. At least I'm sure your parents hope you have. My goal really today is to appeal to yourself in 2 or 3 years. Once you're out in the real world, once you're tired of that desk job, once you're tired of that banking job, which will happen. My 3 roommates right after Penn, all Wharton guys, basically all got into finance and wanted to quit within 2 or 3 years. So I'm appealing to you then. If Wharton Undergrad has a weakness, it's that it's very disproportionate towards those 2 fields, consulting and finance. There's nothing wrong with that. The world needs bankers, the world needs consultants. But as far as fostering entrepreneurship, there's, I think, there's something lacking. I consider myself an unabashed, committed entrepreneur. As I said, even I at Wharton, when I was in your shoes, almost got derailed, almost went down a different path. I felt like an outsider, frankly, all 4 years. It's probably a reason I didn't come to this graduation. But to those of you who are going to startups, I salute you. I met a few of you this morning. It's really impressive to hear what some of the ventures are you guys are working on. So my first message today is this: the world needs more entrepreneurs. There's no question about it. And it's always a great time to start a company. It doesn't matter. So please just do it. And I can attest to this. We started Invite Media about 2 months, 3 months after the world basically ended in terms of the mortgage crisis. It was supposedly the worst time ever to start a company. Looking back, it couldn't have been better. There were too few startups. We were basically by ourselves pitching to a bunch of VCs. In my opinion, there's so few better ways to change the world and innovate than starting a company. It doesn't even have to be in the technology space. It can be in anything. But the fastest way to make innovation is to actually start your own company. And I promise you, those parents in the audience, they will understand when you call, as I did to my dad, and say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a company and foregoing whatever opportunity is that I have. Second, this is probably my most important, please try and do something mission-driven. If there was a lesson I wish I knew in your shoes, it was that doing well by doing good is really, really amazing. It's so hard to beat. Going to work every day, fighting cancer, while also running a startup is an experience that I can't even describe. It's really, really rewarding. There are opportunities to create amazing companies out there in so many mission-driven ways. For example, you can create jobs for people from all different walks of life. There's a company called Andela that helps people in Africa learn how to code. Endless opportunities in healthcare, such as Clover, that's helping to provide better health insurance for the elderly. There's company ideas. You could do what Flatiron's doing, but in cardiology, neurological disorders, Alzheimer's, etc., rheumatology, diabetes. There are opportunities in education, politics, clean energy. There's so many amazingly disruptive things you could do with your life. And especially starting a company or joining a startup is one of the best ways to do it. And you'll feel proud writing home about it. And if there's anything the current administration has taught us, Trump, which I might add is probably not much so far, it's that the world and our country is extremely diverse, probably more diverse than we thought. We live in a bubble, a lot of us, in New York especially, in San Francisco. The world desperately needs us to fight for it and disrupt certain technologies, certain industries. And lastly, please try and do this before life gets its hooks into you. I was lucky to start the company when I did at such a young age. A lot of my friends are now, they're wonderful things, but once you have kids, once you have a mortgage, once you have a very high-paying job, the opportunity costs of those things start to weigh on you. And it becomes harder and harder to take that risk as you get older. Again, there are exceptions to every rule, but if I could recommend something in that area, I would say please try and do a startup or join a company sooner rather than later. So that's my message today. I'm not much of a talker. Again, wanted to put a seed in everyone's brain that all of you are amazingly smart people, you're capable of doing great things, and you're at the true beginning of the rest of your lives. So please, please take advantage of that. Please join an effort that will make a difference in the world, and I'd love to help you. I spend a lot of time with Wharton undergrads. It's one of my favorite things to do, so please reach out. So with all of that, congratulations to all of you, Wharton Undergraduate Class of 2017. Good luck and thank you.
Thanks very much, Nat. I'm sure in a minute, actually, Laurie Rosenkopf might want to respond to some of your challenges about Wharton Undergraduate. But right now, pivot to my right, stage left, I guess it is. I want to introduce to you the student selected by our graduates to represent them on this stage today is Ty Bendit-Stuhl. He is a Wharton research scholar with research focusing on organizational behavior, implicit bias, mindfulness in the workforce. He's passionate about tech blogging, digital health, the digital economy. He's also a drummer with the Mask and Wig Band on the global tour, doing the big global tour, big cities in the US, New York, San Francisco, LA, Washington, DC, but also London. And I think he's very proud, and we're certainly very proud, that he's heading out to South Mountain View in July to work at LinkedIn as a strategy and analytics analyst. And of course, we're very proud that Jeff Weiner, the CEO of LinkedIn, is also a Wharton Undergraduate alum. Could you join me in welcoming Ty to the podium?
Good morning. Dean Garrett, Deputy Dean Gibbons, Vice Dean Rosenkopf, distinguished faculty, staff, friends, family, fellow members of the Wharton class of 2017, congratulations, we've made it. So, as those of you who are visiting walk through campus this morning, you may have noticed a large red statue on College Green. You probably snapped an Insta on your way over, perhaps climbed atop the larger-than-life letters as you reflected on your dear ones who graduate today. L tilted O V E. As students, we've walked by those letters thousands of times. The first day we visited campus as dewy-eyed pre-frosh to tour Huntsman Hall. As juniors, from the OCR suite to that Accounting 102 midterm, we probably could have studied a little harder for. And today, decked out in cap and gown, striding down Locust to the Palestra, L-O-V-E. And yet, love seems like an odd topic for this setting. Cliched and imprecise, perhaps more appropriate for storybooks than a business school graduation. But LOVE has always been at the core of our Wharton experience, and it's also at the heart of successful business organizations. Our university chaplain, Chaz Howard, gives this advice to incoming faculty and staff members. Love your students fully without asking for anything in return. These are the professors who stayed with us long over office hours, the mentors who inspire new passions. For me, one such professor is Dr. Sigal Barsaid of the Management Department, my amazing honors thesis advisor. And it's Dr. Barsaid's own research here at Wharton that has shown compassionate love is also a key driver of workplace outcomes. In a paper entitled, "What's Love Got to Do with It?" Dr. Barsaid and colleagues describe surveying thousands of employees in 7 different industries, from financial services to real estate to healthcare. And what they found was that people who worked in cultures where they felt free to express affection, caring, and compassion were more satisfied with their jobs, more accountable for their performance, and more committed to the organization. We're not talking about romantic love here, although needless to say, some of us have found that as well at Spring Fling, or dare I say Senior Week. Instead, we're talking about compassionate love, which is based on warmth, affection, and connection. And it's compassionate love that is core to the culture we need to and have been building here at Wharton through small acts of love every day. As mentors, we've guided younger students through clubs and course selection and OCR, and we've taught financial literacy in West Philadelphia. As peers, we've lifted each other up through love in our most difficult moments. My own freshman year at Wharton, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory GI condition. I have friends who've stayed with me for hours in the ER, who, when I decided to raise money for patients with the disease, immediately rallied to help me pool thousands of dollars for the cause. And I know so many of us here would do the same. And because of this coming together as a community, we also witness love in our proudest moments. As we sit here today in cap and gown, surrounded by family, mentors, and friends. In all of our accomplishments, we are made up of these countless others who loved us. Parents who fed us, bathed us, taught us how to walk and talk and learn. Professors and mentors who pushed us. Friends who supported us through these most difficult moments. Thank you for loving us. And now it's time to leave this place, but let us continue to foster that same culture of compassionate love wherever we go. For those of you heading to Wall Street, you'll be glad to know there's a love statue in Midtown New York, not far from JP Morgan or Bank of America. For those headed to Silicon Valley, you can find a love statue just a walk away from Wharton, San Francisco. And of course, our favorite LOVE will be sitting right here on Locust when we return to our beautiful alma mater. Class of 2017, all my love, congratulations.
Ty, thanks very much for that wonderful set of remarks, and at least for the 3 shout-outs you gave. The first one is that I have no doubt that the most photographed spot on the Penn campus is the Love statue, followed probably pretty closely by Ben on the bench. But Love statue does very well. Second, thanks for the shout-out for Wharton San Francisco. Again, Laurie, maybe we should talk about that. Back to Nat and entrepreneurship at the school. And last, a shout out to Sigal Basaid, who's with us actually on stage today. It's now my real honor to acknowledge excellence among our students. We have a small number of excellence awards that carry my name, the Dean's Awards, so I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to acknowledge these extraordinary students. We're going to begin with 2 Dean's Awards for excellence. Award winner number 1 is Megan Yan. Megan is doing 2 degrees in Wharton and the college, finance and management and political science. She led the Penn Association for Gender Equity, PAGE. PAGE is an umbrella coalition of more than 20 student groups focused on women's issues and gender issues. She works with administrators and student leaders to improve campus policies regarding faculty diversity, sexual assault, reproductive health. PAGE programming includes the annual Women's Week in March, panel for pre-professional women, and discussions on the applicability of feminist theory to life on campus. She also served as business manager and vice president of the DP, the Daily Pennsylvanian. She's a university scholar, member of the Sphinx Senior Honor Society, the Oracle Senior Honor Society, and the Trustees Council of Penn Women Student Leadership. She won the Penn Student Women's Leadership Award from the Trustees Council of Penn Women. She loved her time at Wharton and at Penn, so she's staying in school. She's going to a place that's pretty good, one of the hardest graduate schools to get into in the world, Yale Law School, this fall. I gather she's even considering another degree at Yale. Megan, could you please stand so we can acknowledge you? Congratulations to you. The second Dean's Award of Excellence goes to Shabman Egbali. Shagman is in a coordinated dual degree program, the Vagelis Life Sciences and Management program, truly extraordinary degree. Her majors are in finance and biology. For many people in the world, you'd think those don't go together so well, but Nat Turner showed us that they in fact do go together well. She's a first-generation college student. She initiated the Innovation and Impact Committee for the Wharton Undergraduate Healthcare Club and created Day of Healthcare workshops for high school students across the diverse Philadelphia public school system. She is an executive board member and tutor for the West Philadelphia Tutoring Project. She's a volunteer in the emergency department of Penn Presbyterian Hospital. She was the winning woman participant in the J.P. Morgan program in 2015, and she won a diversity scholarship from Capital One in 2014. She, on leaving Penn, is going to work at Centerview Partners in healthcare mergers and acquisitions before heading to med school. Shadnam, could you please stand so we can acknowledge you? Now the Dean's Award for Service to Wharton. And boy, I know he deserves it. The winner is Alex Sands, or as I've come to know him, Sands. Sands is in another of our coordinated dual degrees, the Management and Technology program. His majors are entrepreneurship and innovation at Wharton and computer science in the engineering school. He's served ably as the co-chair of the Wharton Dean's Undergraduate Advisory Board, known to us all as WAB. He created WAB seminars teaching students skills like coding outside the curriculum. Hundreds of students, literally. He not only created the seminars, he teaches the biggest one. He also was one of the minds behind the creation this past year of Huntsman Hacks. In February, I was there to see hundreds of Wharton students, freshmen and sophomores, advising the Chinese company Alibaba on how to globalize the firm. Huntsman Hacks is an incredible initiative. He's one of 2 students on the committee at the Wharton School, mostly made up of professors, that approves and reviews all curriculum changes at the school, the Curriculum Implementation and Review Committee. He created Pilot, a nationwide hackathon to teach students to code. Now, he's an interesting guy on graduation, Nat. I know that Sans has been working in summers for several years at Apple, but he's decided to strike out on his own, working with a fellow M&T classmate on plasticity, artificial intelligence, natural language processing, the equivalent of Siri or Alexa, and as he told me, it's going to do more than answer questions like, who is the director of The Godfather? It's going to tell you how to get to the love statue in San Francisco. Sans, could you stand to be recognized, please? And now the Dean's Award for Service to Penn. The recipient is Alessandra Beretta. Ali, no, you're not going to stand yet, but I will recognize you in a second. You're only doing 1 degree, but 2 kind of important majors, our new business analytics concentration and also finance. But in terms of your service to Penn, in an era in which student wellness has become an absolute focus for everybody, not only at Penn, but throughout higher education, the fact that you served as chair of the advisory board for the Counseling and Psychological Services at Penn, otherwise known as CAPS, is incredibly important, because we know that for CAPS and student mental health really to work well on campus, the bridge needs to be made between students and professionals, between the faculty and students, the staff and students, and you've done that. You work tirelessly on Penn Mental Health Wellness Week, emphasizing the importance of student wellness, building community around mental health and destigmatizing mental health challenges. You also served as a Wharton Roundtables facilitator, a leader of one of our cohorts. You volunteered at Camp Kasem for children who have a loved one affected by cancer. I'm very glad to know that you're going to work for Blackstone in real estate, in investor relations and business development. Blackstone's a wonderful company. The head of real estate is also a proud Wharton alum, John Gray. Ali, could you please stand to be recognized? And last but not least, the Dean's Award for Innovation. We have one of those too, Nat, by the way. The recipient is Shuman Kepal. She is also in the Vagelos Life Sciences and Management program with a focus on healthcare and biology. Shuman's big focus recently has been as a co-founder of a startup, and of course she also has the title of Chief of Medical Operations at Ride Health. Ride Health, again, is bringing patients and services together. It's a web-based, smartphone-based app that allows healthcare providers to request rides for low-resource patients who otherwise might not make it to the hospital or the healthcare center. Apparently, over 4 million patients a year miss appointments simply because they don't get a ride to go. Ride Health solves that problem, which is why it was recently awarded the Best Undergraduate Startup at the Penn Wharton Startup Challenge. In addition to her work as an entrepreneur, Schumann volunteers at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. She also is a consultant in our Small Business Development Center at the Wharton School. And no surprise given all that, she's going to medical school next year, but there are a few months between now and then when she's going to be working feverishly on her startup. Schumann, could you please stand? Congratulations. I can't even see you out there. Wave your hands. She stood up. Those are 5 extraordinary students, but there are lots of other amazing students with incredible accomplishments that are all acknowledged in the program, in the graduation program. So I'd like everyone who's winning an award listed in the program today to stand so we could acknowledge you all. Congratulations to you. Now I get to introduce Laurie Rosenkopf, the Vice Dean of the Wharton Undergraduate Program and the Simon and Midge Pally Professor of Management in our Management Department. Laurie's an award-winning teacher, but I've got to tell you, she has a real passion for all things entrepreneurship. She is an entrepreneurship scholar herself, but she doesn't only do it communing with her computer. She wants to do it out there in the world. And we live in a world of acronyms. So I mentioned one before, WAB. How about a new one, which I think is owed to Laurie? It's called WEEP. And WEEP is nothing to be sad about. It's actually spelt W-I-E-P, Wharton Industry Exploration Program, which leverages the breaks in the Penn academic calendar to give you all extraordinary experiences, opportunities to be in Silicon Valley, in New York, in Los Angeles, and to interact with extraordinary Wharton alums and to really open up your eyes and your fields of vision. Wharton's not a narrow place, Nat. It's actually a place that creates incredible opportunities for all our students, and I think Laurie's WEEP program, WEEP Innovation, is a really important innovation at the school. Could you join me in welcoming Laurie Rosenkopf?
Seniors, your class is very special to me. Was it really 4 years ago that I was named the Vice Dean of Wharton Undergrad, and that you began your freshman year here at the University of Pennsylvania? We've grown up together here, and one of the best parts of my role has been seeing those young and unsure freshmen in 2013 mature into the capable and confident adults you are in the class of 2017. Congratulations. Time flies. Putting things in perspective, you've been in college longer than Kim and Kanye have been married. 2013 also gave us the original Sharknado, Pharrell Williams' chart-topping song Happy, and Eileen Lee's coinage of that term unicorn for those highly valued tech firms. Since then, in your 4 years at Penn, you've built your teamwork skills through countless group projects. You've forged lifelong friendships with people you might never have met, but for your simultaneous path through Penn. You've also learned the virtues of data-driven analyses. For example, did you know that as a class, you've completed 24,111 credit units here at Penn. Congratulations again. I'd like to measure your class participation one last time. Happily, this is a pop quiz, but it has no wrong answers and no curve. Please raise your hands to answer. Are you graduating with more than one concentration? 373 of you studied different areas of business in depth. Are you graduating with a dual degree or a minor? 306 of you pursued a degree beyond business. Did you participate in a Wharton International program, that's WIP, or the Industry Exploration Program, WEEP? How many of you? 140 of you traveled around the country and around the world to see business in different regions. Were you a varsity athlete this year? 51 of you represented Penn in different sports. Did you attend mixers with our alumni executive board members? Raise your hands. 94 of you networked with these alumni. Did you participate in the Guide Mentorship Program? 241, that doesn't look like 241 of you, were matched with an MBA student who shared their perspective and experience. And one more for Nat, how many of you are not going into finance or consulting, doing something different? There you go. Let me also give you a chance to show your love to the many dedicated people who mattered during your Wharton journey. First of all, did you have an enlightening class experience with one of our stellar faculty members, some of whom are here on the stage today? Please join me in thanking them. How about, did a member of our dedicated undergraduate division staff in G95 let you know how much they cared about you, indeed, how much they loved you? They've coordinated this ceremony today, so join me in thanking them as well. And last but certainly not least, let's have one more round of applause for your loved ones, both here in the audience and watching from afar. All of us take such great pride in your accomplishments, and we wish you tremendous success and satisfaction in your many pursuits in business and in graduate school. One final statistic. We have 636 members of the class of 2017. Raise your hands, how many of you are ready to walk the stage? The roll call of graduates will now be announced by Wharton Undergrad Senior Director Scott Romica and Senior Associate Director Liz Sutton. Graduates, please prepare to come up onto the stage. Warmest congratulations to all of you. Thank you for a wonderful 4 years. We love you.
Present the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Economics. Gregory P. Abbott. Khalid Abdul Karim. Shahira Abdul Shukur. Colin Abel. Carmen Abello. Anthony Joseph Abinader. Ruben Abraham. Wesley Williams Abram. Imran Adaeo. Victor Adeleke. Serena Advani. Allison Alstrom. Sheetal Sunil Akole. Maria Alcocer. Irtaza Ali. Nikhil Ananth. Luke Angelakis. Lena Anton. Felipe Hedion Arocha. Priyanka Aurora. Dean Avdik. Chelsea Awan. Zohair Azmi. Rachel Bader. Gauri Bahul. Amir Bayina. Shrestha Balachander. William Charles Bannister. Ji Cheng Jason Bao. Sharon Bao. Sharon Bao. Oh. Just checking. Alessandra Barretta. Jeffrey Bard. Michaela Danielle Barnett. Ana Barrera. Michael Barton. Charles Baldron. David Baxter. Kevin Beeford Jr. Jared Bo Benatar. Emmanuel Bengzon. Ashley Berg. Rohit Bundunge. Anmol Bansali. Ashna Vijay Bhatia. Yiran B. Sean Bivens. Karthik Bolasetti. Joseph Bonacorso. Natalie Borofsky. Connor Brady. Austin Jonathan Bream. Aaron Brenner. James Brissett. Brian Broder. Michael Aaron Brodsky. Taylor Brown. Marika Bryson. Jack Bubis. Andrew James Burnick. Geraldine Bustamante. John Bayan. Saidi Pacheco Cachon. David Kahn. Jack Kahn. Edward Kai. Taylor Campbell. Theodore Louis Caputi. Alexander Caruso. Carmen Castelblanco. Ibrahim Solo Cisse. Natalia Chadi. Mohini Chakravorty. Michael Chan. Michelle Chan. Yan Wing Serena Chan. Jorge Laing Bernal. Farez Buhariba. Nada Boalam. Emily Shandel. Timothy Chang. Muhammad Sharawi. Brian Chow. Angela Yi Yang Chen. Kathy Chen. Jenny Chen. Karen Chen. Olivia Chen. Sophia Chen. Huijia Cher. Brandon Chin. Jane Juyun Choi. Jason Ho Ting Choi. June Choi. Anish Kush Chona. Andrew Chow. Ho Sun Chung. Frederick Claessens. Graciela Arana Comas. Hunter Rose Cook. Peter Patrick Cooney III. India Cooper. Cody James Cowan. Vincent Daniel Criscuolo. Caitlin Cronin. Courtney Cusick. Kendall Damore. Lauren DeMore. Kim An Dam. Eric Dardette. Vanessa Deborah. Luis De Castro. Anthony Christian De La Garza. Francesca De La Torre. Mariel Del Cueto. Pearson Devers. Ashwin Dewan. Brian Dingra. Andrew Diedrich. Catherine Ding. Cynthia Ding. Gita Amelia Juwadi. Rochelle Dong. Lainey Doris. Charles Dew. Eric Dussault. Franklin Dussert. David Duxon. Shabnam Egbali. Zachary Elliott. Kevin Emancipator. Zachary Ennis. Sophia Earhart. Marlene Earhart. Jared Michael Ertel. Ayo Fagbemi. Clay Fairbanks. Aaron Nicholas Bison. Gabriela Naves Feinzilber. Lin Xuan Fang. Jeremy Bettis. Stephanie Yuen Fei. Corey Feinberg. Jack Benton. Daniel Ferens. Shayna Bertig. Alina Beato. McKenna Finger. Frederick Finjap. Caroline Flores.
Ayana Folks. Michael Franklin. Adam S. Freed. Adam Friendlick. William Randall Fry. Paula Gamara. Jessica Garcia. Benjamin Gardner. Logan Gardner. Darian Garner. Griffith Gates. Anthony Jordis. Priyanka Ghosh. Rachel Gines. Redima Goel. David Goldman. Dylan Goldstein. Roger Golub. Garrett Gomez. Robert Gormiski. Andrew Joseph Graffey. Alexander Fowles Gray. Jean-Paul Graziozzi. David Greenstein. William Gregoire. Ben Jake Griffiths. Dylan Grigg. Michael Gromis. Deborah Gross. Allison Grunike. Peter Murata Goodma. Aaron Guo. Annie Guo. Bill Guo. Vivian Guo. Anushri Gupta. Arjun Suman Gupta. Devyani Gupta. Gagan Gupta. Temperance Guello. Eddie Haber. Aaron Hall. Michael Heyman. Mitchell Hammonds. Mitchell Harris. Tyler Harris. Erica Harriton. Justin Hash. Sho Hashizume. Jacqueline He. Robert He. Colin Paul Henderson. Teresa Hung. Kevin Hidalgo. Lisa Hong. Sungtik Hong. Kashish Hora. Viviana Lin. Matthew Aaron Howard. Benjamin Shu. Emily Hu. Tianzi Hu. Christopher J. Hua. Kevin Huang. Emily Rose Huber. Kevin Huo. And Natasha Hook. Asad T. Hussein. Tucker Hutchinson. Ahmed Iftikhar. Matthew Immerso. Christina Ingraldi. Elliot Ismail. Jordan Jaffe. Akash Jugdale. Asta Jane. Dhruv Jain. Saria Jane. David Jakubowicz. Reginald James. Suju Jia. Kelly Jiang. Saijo Zhang. Lily Zhang. Young Ho Jin. Graham Jordan. Casper Abelgard Jorgensen. Shreya Joshi. Pamamodu Lamina Kabia. Justin Kammerling. Daniel Kaminsky. Anish Kancharla. Yusra Kandri. Brandon Karpowicz. Mitchell Kaufman. Elizabeth Enoch Hung. Marissa Rose Kay. Matthew Kern. Adil Khan. Anish Kanorkar. Suman Ketpal. Michael Kigawa. Leo Doyun Kim. Junwon Kim. Jungwon Kim. Justin Kim. Minki Kim. Taehan Kim. Tabong Kima. Grace Kirkpatrick. Thriti Kishore. Jacob Klein. William Klein. Amy Knaus. Claire Canizes. Jennifer Nesbach. Robert Knopf. Ira Ko. Sinan Kok. Ira Koliatsos. Dana Kong. Sai Kosaraju. Andrew Cradgell. Sydney Krantzman. Carrie Kraus. Kyle Kroger. Sanjay Kanchakara. Daniel Kwok. Brian Kwok. Christopher Graham Lai. Olympia Nicole Lamana. Kevin Lang. Ma Lang. Brian Lash. Noreen Latif. Aiden Latifov. Robert Lawrence. Chanwook Lee. Jaejun Lee. Kwingjun Lee. Stephanie Lee. Thomas Lee. Jisub Leem. George Lemon. Alessia Lenders.
Amos Liao. Jason Lerner. Matthew Adam Lesser. Berenice Learn. Robert Levinson. Gregory Lewis. Angela Lee. Annie Zijia Lee. Changbo Philip Lee. Daniel Lee. Sonia Lee. Zhenhao Lee. Michelle Liao. Jenna Lin. John E. Lin. Kevin Lin. Terry Lin. Wanda Lips. Stuart Little. Alice Liu. Alan Liu. Lisa Liu. Michelle Liu. Mo Liu. Ray Hong Liu. Sarah Liu. Selena Liu. Jae-Yuan Liu. Erin Stephanie Lowe. Brooke Longton. Amy Liu. Christopher Liu. Linshaw Luan. Sam Luden. Yussi Lundstedt. Max Luo. Lance Mack. Ashley Elizabeth McPhail. Joseph Mayer. Bonnie May. Kylie Mayer. Malik Abdul Majid. Shoria Mantri. Daniel Marathi. Chantel Lamar. Jordan Marshall. Amanda Martinez. Danielle Martinez McCormick. Chase Madigan. Alexander McClelland. Hannah McGrath. Brendan McManus. Dylan McParland. Naman Mehrotra. Raj Mehta. Susan May. Michael Meggs. Anna Mendelson. Rida Merdi. Samantha Messer. Brooke Michelson. Timothy Michael Miller. Nicholas Mayan. John Moe. Vani Mohindra. Diana Mangare. Ashley Montgomery. David A. Montgomery. Alexander Moore. David Moore. Mackenzie Moore. Raul E. Mendez Morales. Natalia Moreno. Aaron Morgan. Max Morgenstern. Madison Moskowite. Majid Mubin. Nikhil Ravi Nabar. Sierra Multari. Kalpana Naidu. Devi Nair. Nidhi Nair. Sebastian Cyrus Naji. Saseen Najjar. Arjun Nandi. Sandra Rachel Nanazi. Taylor Nodden. Eli Nazarian. Vasilisa Nekrasova. Olivia Nelson. Aaron Nessel. Cora Neumann. Monica Ing. Michelle Nie. Tess Nywood. Dong Woo No. Jacob Norton. Lisbeth Nunez. Andrew Jacob Ock. Devin O'Connor. Sean O'Dowd. Brooke O'Leary. Alexia Jimenez Olivares. Anina Oliver. Matthias Olson. Bar Orone. Peter Otubu. Griffin Henry Epstein Owens. Anais Page. Sindhu Hagadala. Jordan Palmer. Donald Panciello. Josh Parasar. Jun Sung Park. Jun Young Park. Kevin Park. Esther Park. Yi-hyun Irene Park. Andrea Eugenia Pascual. Ajay Patel. Amar Patel. Kirav Patel. Nikita Patel. Pavan Nilesh Patel. Mei Mei Pao. Mauricio Pesach. Riley Pelisek. John Robert Zachary Pelka. Madeline Penn. Julia Pang. Dahlia M. Perry. Anthony Perry, Jr. Eric Hersky. Sophie Zhang Phillips. Hannah Pissera. Jack Gladys. Aiden Pongrace. Matt Poplowski. Daniel Poulos. Michael Howell. Seamus Powers. Gabrielle Puglia. Rudra Puri. Andrew Pyle. Catherine Hugh. Michael Quinoy. Pranav Vishnu Mamabudran. Temilola Ransom Kuti. Hariharan Ravi.
Shreya Reddy. Michael Rechek. Ryan Ripp. Paul Rogowski. Brett Roston. Joshua Rowan. Gleason Ryan. Joshua Ryan. Alexander Saccone. Ege Saduyu. Rami F. Saker. Kristen Saldivar. Emin Salim. Ashwarya Saluja. Edwin F. Sam. Abigail Sampson. Alexander Sands. Alexis Sargent. Arjun Sastry. Milan Rushman Savani. Andrew Scatino. Brian Schaenauer. Nicholas Schwartz. James Seaman. Raina Lindsay Searles. Evangelos Samoglu. Lorena Serrano. Grayson Sessa. Brian Shabto. Brandon Shackelford. Tarek Mahmoud Chakarchi. Amy Shawn. Arena Shan. Julie Shanis. Ashish Sharma. Pranay. Sharma. John Marshall Sharp. Daniel Sheehan. Yuhan Shen. Eileen Shentu. Michael Shepard. Rajan Sheth. Paul Sigler. Ikshita Singh. Saho Singho. Felipe Sinistera. Gabrielle Skladman. Stacy Sloat. Daniel Smart. Tiffany Smith. Vasilisa Sokolova. Isabel Solares. Sarah Soley. Julia Souza. John T. Speck. Jack Ryan Stein. Corey Stern. Brendan Stone. Adam Strauss. Kevin Sue. Madeline Sue. Kaylee Suero. Bennett Sultan. Angela A. Sun. Christine Sun. Kedian Sun. Ananya Suresh Kumar. Victoria Sutherland. Alexander D. Swick. Connor Swords. Jason Tabas. Mansicha Tadadet. Adekori Taiwo. April Tan. Nicholas Tan. Angie Tang. Gina Tang. Karishma Tank. Austin Tedesco. Bob Teo. Hongken Teo. Aiden Thornton. Nicholas Thornton. Han Tian. Asta Tibrewala. Armin Tokanov. Joshua Tometsky. Janelle Sophia Tong. Sonia Tong. Shannon Toole. Oriana Torres. Alexia Tragakis. Pranith Tripuranini. Serena Desai. Marina Sikoris. Jack Tyree. Emily Ulrich. Nishe Upadiula. Christian Arutia. Lucas Vacek. Domingo Anselmo Valadez. Linda K. Valadez. Sahil Vanjani. Hendrik van Nievelt. Alejandra I. Lee Vargas. Roberto A. Vargas. Rodrigo Arnelas Vargas. Krisha Vasani. Luba Vazanina. Gautam Venkatasan. Stephanie Verbitsky. Michael Aaron Wagmeister. Amy Wang. Colin Jerry Wang. Emily Wong. Jennifer Wang. Kevin Wang. Sisu Wang. William Wang. Yu Wang. Anne Estelle Wasserman. Jacob G. Wax. Jackson Way. Michael Wen. Daniel Wang. Brody Weigelt. Jonathan Michael Wyand. Michelle White. Nicholas Witten. Marie Louise Weigert. Hallie Wilf. Jamal Williams. Caroline Wills. David Mark Winfield II. Dominic Michael Wright. Alexander Wu. Bella Wu. Christopher Wu. Kevin Wu. Vivian Wu. Si-Young Xu. Douglas Yamamoto. Megan Yan. Anna Yang. Christine Yang. Marilyn Yang. Sydney Yang. Satya Yurabolu. Xiuhan Ying. Aileen Yu. Kevin Yu. Tony Young. Jamie Yu. Mara Zafiyu. Aaron D. Zell. Kianyi Sophia Zhang. Angela Zhang. Colin Zhang. Jalin Zhang. Wei Zhang. William Zhang. Kathleen Wenjo. Julia Zhu. Junda Zhu. Stephanie Zhu. Amy Tingxuan Zhuo. Juliet W. Zhou. Mindy Heather Zhou. Casey Zuccarello. Before honoring our last degree candidate, we also want to acknowledge members of the class of 2017 who are not able to attend today's ceremony. Their names are listed on the screen. And lastly, we present the final degree candidate for the Bachelor of Science in Economics degree, Ty Bendit Stuhl.
We have two more orders of business this afternoon. My name is Sam Lundquist. I'm Vice Dean of Wharton External Affairs, and I represent the team that will care for you going forward and embrace you as members of the Wharton alumni community. You may have noticed this is a complex weekend. Friday and Saturday reunion, Sunday and Monday graduation. It's a real feat of logistics on campus. If you thought your 4 years just went quickly, let me share with you an observation that I had when I attended the 20th reunion dinner last night. And I'll tell you, in 2037, when you come back for your 20th reunion, the same thing is going to happen. The seniors who are graduating will look at you and say, "What are all these old people doing here?" They're thinking to themselves, "Isn't it great? I still look like a student." That dynamic really explains the acceleration of time. But to commemorate your entry into the alumni community, please join each other in moving your tassels from the right to the left. It's official. Thank you to Nat and to Ty and to Dean Garrett for all emphasizing the value of network and community today. You are now a member of a community that is, believe it or not, 96,000 strong, living in 153 countries around the world. And wherever you're going, whatever country you will live in, you will carry the Wharton flag with you. Wharton is now part of your personal brand. And I want to be one of the first to say thank you for being part of that community. Your success will lift Wharton. And to that end, we need you. And we will be here for you. And we will be there for you wherever you are living. You have plenty of opportunities for Wharton to continue to be relevant in your career. We can help you sharpen your skills. We can help you expand your perspective. So I want to remind you briefly, take advantage of those resources. They will exist around the world with 75 different affinity groups and regional clubs for you to join, which means that truly you will have friends everywhere. But also remember lifelong learning. This is the resource that will be available to you online. It will be available to you here in Philadelphia when you visit, but also in San Francisco and Beijing, where we also have facilities. Truly, they're available to you for continued learning throughout your life. Take advantage of them and take advantage of the remarkable alumni network. And now I'm delighted to share with you an important Wharton tradition. Each year, Wharton alumni who have demonstrated leadership within the Wharton community are extended an invitation to participate in commencement by carrying a flag that signifies their alumni status. One graduate is selected as alumni marshal, who will pass the 2017 alumni flag to a member of the graduating class. This year, we're thrilled to have Dan Ock as alumni marshal. Dan is a Wharton Undergraduate class of 1982. He's the founder, chairman, and CEO of Oxif Capital Management Group in New York City, and he's currently a member of the Wharton Board of Overseers. In passing the 2017 alumni flag to Ty, the undergraduate 2017 class, and our student speaker, Dan is linking the Wharton alumni of yesterday to those of today. Welcome to the alumni community.
Great work.
Thanks, Ty, and thanks, Dan. Dan, I don't know why you weren't running around the auditorium yourself, but so we're in the countdown now. We're really almost done. I know everyone's going to have a fantastic afternoon. The countdown, there are 4 things left. The first thing, again, is for me to congratulate everyone who has just graduated from the Wharton School. What you've done is amazing. We're so proud to have you. Number 3 in my David Letterman countdown is to everybody sitting upstairs. I know that everyone down here appreciates everything you've done more than you can imagine. So again, our profound thanks to all of you for everything you have done. Number 2 in my countdown is Happy Mother's Day, all those mothers out there. And last but not least, there's a Penn tradition that has to do with singing, and I can tell you that I'm really not up to it. So where is he? Scott is here. Scott Ramika is going to lead us in the singing, the hand gestures, and everything else associated with the Penn tradition, the red and the blue. Scott, take it away.